Hey there, as promised, here is part 2 of my EasyPress unboxing where we'll create a onesie using 2 colors in the design. If you're looking for the actual machine unboxing, you'll find that in the video I posted yesterday.
Okay, so I'm going to look at up here under projects. I'm going to go under baby. And there's another, look at all this cute stuff, guys. But there's another one that, yeah, this one that says that milk though. I think that's so cute. So I definitely want to do this one for the new baby as well. So I only have a white onesie. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna change a few things on the coloring. So I'm gonna hit, instead of make it, I'm gonna hit customize. And I'm gonna leave the sizing how it is because I can see that it's around 5x4, which we know from the last one, 5x5 worked great. So this will be slightly smaller. And I'm going to change the colors of these. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on this link, or I'm sorry, on this layer. And then I'm going to go to fill. And let's see, what does that say? No, fill, where's my, here's my color. So I'm going to click this little box here. And I'm going to change that to a light blue. It doesn't have to match my light blue exactly. And then this one, I'm going to change to a dark blue because those are the colors that I'm working with, and it's just going to help me line everything up. So I want to go ahead, and I like the size of it. If I wanted to change the size, I would just click on it and I could drag these arrows, or I can change it up here if I know exactly how large I want it to be. So I'm going to use some of that same blue as well as a darker blue to create this, and I think that what I have will hopefully be long enough, though I'm not sure that it actually will because I'm using some sort of leftover pieces from other things. So let's see what it looks like on the canvas. I'm going to click make it. Okay, so I think milk might actually be larger than what I'm going to be able to do. Let me see that piece. This extra piece would have been perfect. So I'm gonna need a 3 by ruler. So this is about 5 inches wide, so that would work. And this is, oh, that's right at 3 inches. What if I went this way? Okay, so that's 3 inches. And then it looks as though that dip starts around 4. Starts around 4.5. I think this is gonna work. I think this one that has the little cut in it is gonna work. This is why you never throw anything away, even if you have a mistake, because you might be able to get it to work. Okay, and then I wanna do the other portion in this darker blue. So let me look at how that's laid out. And it looks like I'm gonna need around 3, about 4 inches wide. Okay, so here's how we're gonna make this work. We're just gonna trim stuff down. So for the first, I'm gonna go back so you can see. So for the first one, I'm gonna go ahead and click mirror because I wanna make sure that when I'm placing this down, I know where everything's going. So I'm going to use this mat twice, and here's how I'm going to do it. Rather than pull out a second mat and get another one started, because of the way that this is lined up, I'm going to be able to get both on one mat. So I'm going to take this piece here. Remember, shiny side down, okay? And I know that my swirl is going to go this way, so it should work just fine. I'm going to place this one right up here in the corner. And smooth that down. And my measurement should work out, but just, you know, fingers crossed. If we have to do it again, we'll do it again and pick a different color. Okay. Just gonna make sure all my edges are down. Oh, I've got a hair. Okay. Let's get that off there. Okay. Now, that's gonna be my first cut. My second cut, I'm gonna hit mirror image on that as well. I'm gonna turn this over. So for the first one, I know that I'm going to need about 1 inch by 3 inch. I'm gonna grab my cutter here. Sorry, I'm kind of, there we go, I think that'll work. So I know that this is more than 3 inches long. So I'm not gonna cut just 1 inch. I'm gonna do 1 inch. I'm gonna use the one on this side. I'm gonna do 1 1/4 inches. Again, just to give myself a little bit of leeway. And then looking at the mat, I know the next one I'm going to need is going to be about 3 1/4 inches. So is this, yeah, this is almost 3 1/2. So I think that we can make that work. And I'm gonna trim off another 1.5 inches. Okay, so I've got 2 of these. So rather than mess up the space, have the space in between it and not have it be, you know, what I need. Why did that do that? Lifting a little bit. Probably just because it was cut before. So rather than have that wasted space in between, I'm gonna place these down separately. So I've got my 1 inch, my first inch here, and this is gonna take me to a little over 3. And I can tell because the squares on the computer are gonna match the squares on my grid. So I'm gonna make sure that's down. And then I can see for the bottom part of this, I wanna be at the 3, so 1, 2, 3. And it's sort of between 3 and 4. So if I go, it's only slightly over 3, so 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th one. And I want to be, sorry, I'm just thinking, I'm double checking myself. 1, 2, 3. So this is the line here, 3, that the line's going to be on. So I want to be slightly covering that. Okay. So I've got everything positioned. And again, this is just a way not to, you know, waste that material that's there on the inside. And also use scraps when you don't have enough to cover that full amount. So I'm just gonna make sure those are down nice and flat. Both of my things are mirror imaged. And I'm going to click purchase. Again, if this is your free trial, you will not have to purchase it. You will just go ahead and click make it. Password. Okay, so I'm going to click continue. And remember, when you're doing it like this, you have to remember which one you're doing first. So I'm doing the light blue first. And I'm gonna set my material. I've got iron on here. Everything's loaded because I just did this previously. And you can see off to the side that this is the mat that's highlighted. So that's the one I'm cutting. So I'm gonna line this up, go under my guides here, up next against the wheels, and hit the load unload button. And I'm going to go ahead and click go. Okay, so that color's done, so I'm going to pull that out. I'm just checking, and it worked. Okay. Now I'm just going to flip this around, load that in, and click go. Okay, it's done, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And our lineups worked great for that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. Again, peeling the material and making sure I'm taking the mat off of the material rather than the material off of the mat. Just going to get the corner started. And I will do the same thing up here. Oops. Okay. Go ahead and place my cover down. And then because I like to swap the sides of my mat when I use it, and I technically have used this twice now, I'm going to grab my marker and I'm going to add 2 more dashes. There. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now before I weed this, I'm going to actually trim it down because I might be able to use this piece for something else as well. So I'm just going to add that into my scraps. And I will go ahead and take my weeding tool and get rid of the background just like we did before. Start here. The edge is always a little hard to get started, but once you do, it's easier. Okay, now remember I mentioned when you have something with an eye in it, you want to be careful peeling around that. Again, this is a brand new blade, so it should not be a problem, but I'm going to be extra careful there to make sure that I don't lose that dot. One more. Okay, so there we've got that one. And now I'll do these. I'm gonna trim off this little piece too. You never know. I don't think I can save any more from the other one. But you just never know what you might be able to use the little small pieces for. Because if you're doing like a layered character, you know, like a Disney character or something, you might need a tiny piece. I did some, couple years ago, I did some tumblers that had the Frozen, the snowman from Frozen on it for my niece's birthday party, and they were a big hit. Alright, come on. Okay. always a little bit more careful when I have a smaller design like this, so I'm just going slow. Now that I've got that started, and I'm going to get out the O here. Okay, get these guys out of the way. That's not all what I wanted. Okay, so I've got all of that. Making sure I have the bottom down where it's supposed to be. I'm going to restart my EasyPress. It does heat up really quickly. Okay. I'm going to take out my onesie. Now, I'm going to click finish here, and I want to go back and look at the original design just to help me get everything lined up when I place all of this down. Flatten that out. Okay, so it chirped, we're at 3:15, so I'm going to go ahead and just run this over the base here. Set off to the side. Now, because I'm using separate things here, I want to kind of find the center just to make sure that I have everything lined up as best as I possibly can. So I'm going to straighten out these edges a little bit more. It really is pretty good. And I'm just going to put like a little crease in this. I'm going to run that again. So I want sort of my center to be here. So I'm going to take this and just line it up. I'm going to just do a quick little press here. I'm going to do the same thing like this. Line up those shoulders and the seams and do a quick little press here. Okay. And there I can see my little cross in the center, but it's not going to interfere with when I lay things down. So I'm going to place the milk right in the center of that cross. Now, when you're doing two different colors, this can get tricky, and I have forgotten sometimes after I've laid out my design, you cannot iron on top of this plastic. So I'm going to lay out my design to make sure that I'm happy with it. Yeah, I think that's centered really well. But you cannot press it like this because this will iron onto the plastic that it's on top of, and it'll just ruin it. So once you're happy with how it's laid out, you've got to peel that back up. And I'm just careful not to move my base. This one's not covering too much. Okay, and you're going to do it in two different presses. So I'm going to grab my cover cloth. I really need to just trim a piece off of this. And I'll take my EasyPress, place that down, press my timer. Again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this. I'm just using the weight of my hands to keep it steady. Okay. Gonna take that and flip it over. Do one more press. Okay. Gonna flip it back over. Now I'm gonna carefully just start at the edge just to make sure. Again, you want to make sure that you check that the type of vinyl that you're using, some of them are cold removal, so you'd have to let this cool completely before you take off your backing like this. Okay, now I am going to save this sheet. I'll tell you why in a second. I'm going to line up the rest of this. That looks straight to me. Now, I want to keep this extra protected because I do have my pressing cloth that I'm going to pull over it, but I just, just to be extra careful, I've saved this. I'm going to place this back down on top of that, and that way I've got that extra layer over everything. I'm going to do the same thing again. Add my press. If you heard that crying, that is my Charlie in the background complaining because I've been ignoring him for the last couple of hours. Okay. No, down. No, get down. Right now. Okay. I'm going to peel that back. I'm going to peel this top away. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm going to flip this over. And we'll do that one more time. I'm just checking real quick while I'm doing this. My surface where I have this sitting on top of this, it's warm. I mean, just barely warm to the touch. So I'm pretty amazed by that. I really love that I'm able, to do a tutorial like this in my normal, without having to change my camera around a whole lot. That's really great. Like that, this is really, really well thought out to keep that heat off of your table. And underneath the pad here, this is not hot at all. I wouldn't even call it warm. So that works great to keep the heat where you want it. Okay, now I'm going to peel this away. And again, with these smaller ones, I'm always extra careful. That's great. Wow, I mean, that's just amazing. With my regular iron, if I had something this thin, it would take me, I would just continually have to really, really press and run over that, and I would peel it and it would come up, and I would iron it again and it would come up again, and it was a lot more work than this. So I'm gonna press this one more time just for final peace of mind. I don't think it really actually needs it. That's a me thing. They're saying after the press from the front and the back, it should be fine. I'm just doing this for my own extra security. And it's done. So that is awesome. I'm really, really happy with the heat press. Here are the 2 onesies that we made. One with just 1 color, one with 2 colors. And you would do the same thing if you wanted a 3rd color. You would do it just the same way. You do the 1st layer, the 2nd layer, the 3rd layer, and then you are good to go. Alright guys, that's going to do it I think for today. I am wanting to make myself a tea towel, so I may be back shortly to film that. I'm not sure if I'll do it today or not, but this gives you a basic overview of how to do the iron-on vinyl. As I mentioned in my unboxing of the regular Cricut, if there's a specific project that you'd like me to show you how to do, something you've been wondering about, if you have any questions, let me know below, and I will talk to you again soon.